All right, everybody, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
Welcome to the second half. It's time for the new album review. Jeffrey, can you tell us what we're talking about?
We're talking about the new album from Pink. It's called Trustfall. This is her 9th studio album. It has 13 tracks. It's 44 minutes long. Let's do a Pink quiz. How many top 20 hit songs does Pink have?
I'm going to guess.
Top 20.
Oh, top 20? I'm going to guess 15.
Ooh, I'll go 10.
21.
Oh, I win by Price is Right rules.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Her last top 20 hit was in 2017. She's
21.
had 4 number 1 songs. And she is still thriving, I would say. This album features lots of different collaborators, producers. She's working with her old friends Greg Kurstin, Shellback, Max Martin, and others. I enjoyed this record. What do you guys think about it?
I liked it too.
Yeah.
I listened to this record, and I felt like this was the record that I wish that Shania Twain record was.
But
that might just be me. I don't know. Luke?
Yeah, I will agree with that sentiment. I know that they are age differenced. Shania Twain being almost 60. I think she's 57, and I think Pink is 42, if I'm not wrong. So they are different age. I'm just saying compared to a pop album that we did last week that had some country flavoring.
43.
Thank you. It had some country flavoring to it. I thought that this was way better. I thought it was produced better. The songwriting was better in a lot of ways. You want to start hopping in there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, one thing that I noticed about this album that I really liked is I felt like a lot of these songs played to her strengths as far as like her vocal range went. I didn't feel like, I mean, there's a couple moments where she hits some higher notes and stuff, but there's never really this sense of like struggling vocally with what's going on with what she was doing. And I think a lot of that has to do with just, music theory, man, what's the key of this song, like all that kind of stuff. Super effective.
I thought her voice sounded great on these songs too. I thought she was like hitting notes that were like impressive, and the melodies were interesting, and she was really using her voice on a lot of using it.
I've always enjoyed her voice. She has that slight bit of rasp or like kind of edge in the voice a lot of times. I think she very well communicates emotions and kind of always has. Like that batch of big pop singers from the early 2000s that she came up in, she always stood out to me as not being like bubblegum, but being more heartfelt and real and raw and all that kind of stuff. This album features her well, I think, too, because the songs are everything from kind of not rock, but like that powery, poppy, mid-tempo or ballad type thing. She has a couple that are kind of pop punky. She has a couple that are like folksy, Americana, almost pop country style thing. And she has a couple that do that, like, they're not R&B songs, but like the vocal delivery is kind of in that R&B world.
Yeah.
I thought this was just a good album. Solid.
Yeah, the only thing that if I have one sort of critique of the album is that there is sort of genre hopping.
Right.
I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, though. I think it shows that she's capable of some genre hopping, like the country music style stuff. I'm like, oh shit, country.
Yeah.
Pink could do like a country album, and I would probably like buy into it. You know what I mean? I thought the features were all great. There's only 3. There's First Aid Kit, the Lumineers, and Chris Stapleton. All 3 of those were awesome songs. I love that Chris Stapleton song too. There's like no drums on it. It's just
closer,
it's just the album closer. It's just kind of like this sort of mood thing, and Chris Stapleton, obviously, like Jeff said before, the guy could sing the phone book and it would sound good. And even the Lumineer stuff, First Aid Kit, I love the features.
Oh, okay. So if we're going into the features, I liked the songs that were on there as features. I thought they were really well done and executed well. The First Aid Kit song sounds like more like a First Aid Kit song, and Pink kind of doesn't really shine her voice out as much as I'd like it to in that song, and it kind of blends into a more First Aid Kit, but it's a good song. It's produced well. And I kind of feel that way a little bit too with the song before that, with the Lumineers, Long Way to Go. Again, that one kind of just feels more like a Lumineers tune that Pink kind of sits in. And I liked on this album where it was her really just like giving herself on there. And that those were bad. I just kind of felt like it detracted a little bit from the whole like real feeling of like a more cohesive record for me, where it was like all Pink like up front. And I guess that maybe she didn't want to do that because there's maybe some like a lot of piano ballads if you kind of take those two away, but at that they were a little slow. So for me they just didn't work in the album sense, but they worked as songs. They were good songs, not bad at all in any means.
Like, so I kind of have a viewpoint almost complete opposition of that, because I liked those feature songs because she kind of just falls into the whole of it all. Like especially the First Aid Kit song, which was Kids in Love. That sounded like she was just the third member of that duo, and they all traded stuff, did different harmonies. And then the Lumineers one remind me of the Just Give Me a Reason song from like a decade ago that she did with Nick Roos from the band Fun. Just give me a reason.
Absolutely.
Which was a #1 hit, where it's like just trading verse with each other. And I like that song, the Lumineers song, which is called Long Way to Go, because I enjoyed the bridge with the nice organ and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I liked her kind of just becoming one with the song, because she's hitting it so hard on the rest of the album.
Yeah. I thought that opening with a ballad was a pretty bold choice,
that
too.
was interesting.
I was like, oh, weird. I mean, not weird. The sentiment of the song itself, it's about her father who recently passed away, which was kind of one of the main sort of emotional inspirations, I'd say, for this song specifically, but probably for the album itself, as well as her children dealing with COVID-19 when they had COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff. Bold choice to open with a ballad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if I loved it or I hated it. I couldn't make my mind up. I'm like, well,
I liked it.
You know what I'm saying?
I liked it because it was a very clear signal of like, I am 43 years old.
Yes.
I am just making a record. I don't care about going like da 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 from the top.
Right,
like,
yeah. I think initially I was kind of like, oh, weird, a ballad. But then upon multiple listens of the album in the whole, because I just did the whole album, and you know what I mean? Like, I think that's how most of us listen to it anyway, just in one solid, just boom, this is the album front to back. I liked it more and more. Where I felt like I didn't like certain things. Never Gonna Not Dance Again. I didn't love that song.
Oh, that song.
That was my favorite song of the record.
Really?
Yeah, because to me that was like, it reminded me so much of that like Diana Ross stuff. It had some kind of interesting disco era type of chord changes.
I love the instrumental side of it, though.
Like,
the instrumental side of it, I was like,
it was
this
a little
is a banger.
a little windier than current pop stuff. Like in contrast, like I love the Lizzo stuff, but think about the Lizzo disco type of stuff, where it's kind of like, if Lizzo wasn't singing on it, it sounds like every disco era song ever made chord wise. And this sounded a little bit more unique, a little bit more like off the wall Michael Jackson type of songwriting.
Yeah.
All right, did you guys I saw that somebody, I didn't pick this out, but somebody said that the song sounded a lot like Can't Stop the Feeling from Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought it did, but
that's what it was.
Except that song, that's a song where it's like, here are the 4 chords forever.
Yeah. And it's that's from the Trolls soundtrack, which I was unfamiliar with.
Oh,
so.
have you seen Trolls?
No, because
it's excellent.
I've not seen Trolls.
It's a cinematic masterpiece.
I had not heard that song until referenced.
It's about trolls.
I think Pink gets the song. I think she gets it because it's more artsy, and her take, I think, is more well done. The Justin Timberlake one I listened to, it was okay, but they're kind of the same flow, but I loved Pink's version. I'm with you on this. I liked that song. I thought it gave, like, movement to the record, like, it was get this party started vibe, but, like, for this, because now we're doing, like, 70s throwback music, not, like, whatever that was. That was all its own, I think.
It was, like, fun 45-year-old mom music.
Yeah.
Which, like... Yeah. I'm into. Go for it.
And she's, and that's who she is on this record too. Yeah. It's like, and when I thought of when I listened to this record, I could not stop personally thinking of my own mother, who sends me Pink songs like, this reminds me of like you, or like our family, or like something. Yeah. And I thought of my mom a lot when I listened to this record. I thought it was a great record for somebody like my mother. Like, this isn't my go-to music to listen to all the time, but as like a pop record from somebody that's been in the industry a long time, this is a really well-formed, solid record for that market and demographic, and it's produced well, has interesting songs on it. Artistically, I know where this woman is coming from because she's telling me on every song explicitly. I love
that's
that.
the thing. That's the thing about this record is there's no. It doesn't feel like a put on. You know what I mean? She's just like, this is what's happening. This is who I am. This is how I feel. These are my emotions. And you go on the roller coaster ride with her, you know?
I also wanted to talk about too, if we're going to talk about Never Not Gonna Dance Again, the big poppy hit on here. What about Last Call, like that really good country-y tune?
I like that one a lot too.
Later in the track listing, I thought that was
nice
such
textures.
a good pop country tune.
Yeah.
And it's has a lot of the sentiment that the lead-off track has, When I Can Get There, but it's done more in like a country
tremolo guitars,
Yeah.
and wide open,
and it's like it says a lot of like the nice things about her father, like I hope, like I miss you and all these things, and like the memories they have together, and it's done in like a really fun way, and I thought that was like great and ready for country radio if it accepts it. So
I also really like the electro pop music on this record, because Pink has always kind of been in the kind of same category as Robin's music at time, the Swedish pop singer, and Robin also worked with Max Martin for a long time. And I don't know if Max Martin and Shellback produced both Trustfall and Runaway, but I think they definitely produced Trustfall, which has that driving like, and it's just like very dancey, singable. You could hear it in a club, you could hear it on radio, and I like that kind of like persistent driving electronic pop thing.
I thought it gave that record a lot of like airiness too. It separated a lot of the piano ballads in it, and I like that too. Texture, and again, even on those like dancey songs, she's giving a lot of herself lyrically on there instead of like, this is just like a dancey beat and I'm gonna say dance over it. Trustfall is like all about how she feels and how life is like, just everything in life is a trust fall. Like, she's really putting herself out there in those, and it works.
Yeah, I did love. So here's the thing: is we've covered a lot of records, lots of records this past year.
8 months we've been doing this.
8 months, and there's a lot of albums where all the songs are in lowercase letters, all the songs are in uppercase letters. Some songs are just symbols and characters and stuff. I thought that it was really clever to make the album, like the album title song, like as the single, I guess, the title track, sorry, in all caps, but everything else is just regular. I thought that was a nice little touch.
I didn't notice.
I enjoyed that.
I noticed it instantly because I look at like all these that we do, and I'm like, oh, that one's different on Spotify. It's not all caps. It's like
right.
One of them's in caps.
Right, and I thought that was kind of a clever thing to kind of be like, hey, this is, and maybe that's something that we'll see going forward. Like maybe, I think that's a good idea where it's like the singles are in all caps. You know what I mean? So that way people know.
I've seen artists do that.
Have you? Yeah. I've never seen that before. I thought that was really cool.
If you have one of those, shout it out in the comments. We'll check it out.
But yeah, I agree, man. I loved the piano ballads on this, but I love that kind of thing. I love that sort of like raw emotion where everything is just kind of like, as a vocalist, if you just got a piano going, there is no place to hide. So you really gotta just send it and do it. And I thought that she was super effective in that as well. So.
Yeah, I like the song "Feel Something." I think that was the one co-written with Teddy Geiger. I just like the melody was very nice. Nice is a crap way of saying the melody was very interesting, and I thought unique, and like it sounds like a million songs while also sounding like its own thing.
It was kind of like Adele-like, but Pink like infuses her own personality in it, and you're just like you're caught up in Pink's life and her, trials and tribulations.
And I think the thing is too is that she gives you like the Pink thing, like in that song "Hate Me." she's singing,
Pop
and all of a
punky.
sudden it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah, I like that one, too.
hey, ho, ho, welcome to the shit show. You hear like the group vocals like yelling
Yeah.
something in the back.
That
so
was the
there's
na na
some
na
of that.
na na. That was that
Of-
type
of
of
that
Right,
stuff.
album.
yeah, and it still gives you that flavor. So you get this rawness, this emotion, all these things, but she still peppers in some of that fun stuff that she's kind of known for doing, and that punky kind of attitude sort of thing.
I read that one. That was like she did a lot of press for this that I very much read and ate up. I love that she did a big press tour for this. But yeah, she said that one was like she got in a fight with her husband, like went to the studio and just wrote like a silly song about it, like get it off her chest. And
Yeah.
she was like, oh, it was funny, but like this album has all the it has life, death, silly arguments on it, really heavy topics. And,
Yeah, she's to put in perspective, I was thinking like her first album I think came out in 2001, and like what I would say was her peak like on the radio thing was like 01 to 2010, but then she's had a couple hits since then. It's like her and Beyonce are the only ones from that era that are still like putting out stuff that's still like hitting radio.
I was thinking this as well. Definitely, because it was crossing my mind.
I would have never thought that 20 years ago.
The Moulin Rouge.
Yeah,
song
right. Yeah.
That a lot of the big pop artists are featured on. Pink seems to be the only one from that group that is consistently been making music the whole time.
Because who was in that
never
group?
stopped.
It was her. It was Christina Aguilera.
Lil Kim.
Maya, Lil Kim, and Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
So-
Really. Yeah. So
very,
nobody.
very interesting. And
But even back then, Lady Marmalade, I listened to it today. I've always thought Pink was the best part of that song.
Yeah.
Throw It On, man. She just sounds the best. She has that grit. She has that cool like.
I bet you she
That
doesn't.
sounds better.
I bet you she doesn't oversing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera, we're looking at you.
I wasn't throwing digs over here.
I'll throw the
Or
digs. I don't
undersings the
care.
whole time. Maya.
Yes.
You sound
All right.
good.
You're all right. You're fine. We hope
Lots of auto tune to help those notes along.
We hope you're doing
I heard
well,
it.
Maya. So let's do quick ratings then. Let's go around because I'm interested in seeing how you guys are rating this. Jeffrey, would you like to lead us off?
Yes. I'm going to be honest, and I really enjoyed this record more than I thought I would, and this album is a lot better than I thought it was going to be when we talked about reviewing it. This is an 8 for me. It's a 7.5 at the least for me, and I'm going to say it's an 8 because the stuff I really like on this album.
Yeah.
And I really only like kind of don't love 2 or 3 of the more ballady type things, but those are the types of songs I got to listen to them for a couple weeks before I'm like, yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so an 8.
I think I'm going to go with Jeffrey as well. I think I'm going to call this an 8. I feel the same way. I'm not a huge Pink person, but I grew up in the TRL age. Pink was somebody who was on the countdowns and and all that kind of stuff. I really haven't listened to much Pink in the more recent past. Aside from the hits, I'm gonna say 8. This is a solid record considering all things. It's a great record, man.
I'm gonna go 7.7. Get a little pitchforky on you guys. My only deterrent was I wasn't in love with I love the features. They sounded cool. Just for an album's sake, I could have used a bit more condensed and more Pink. So 7.7. I liked everything on this album. If you like Pink, you're gonna absolutely love this record.
Agreed.
If you have fallen out with Pink, check out this record because it's really, really, really good. It's really good for what it is. It hits all the marks for me.
Yeah.
Now,
Pink.
before we leave this record, you mentioned your mom being a big Pink fan.
Correct.
What do you think would your mom's favorite song in this record be?
I would probably say the lead-off track. When I get there, she would probably really enjoy because it's very emotional and heartfelt.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the one she would like. My mom also likes these narrative songs. I don't know. I think she'd like the First Aid Kit song a lot because it was all it's all what these things.
We
and,
were under
life.
the bleachers.
Yeah,
and,
and,
we
kids,
grew up.
kids in
and we
love.
have
Yeah,
love.
it's
yeah.
these kids grew. It's like that kind of thing.
Is that the name of the song? Kids
Yes,
in Love?
Kids
right?
in Love. Yes, exactly.
I was like, it's like the stories of kids being in love.
So, my mom resonates a lot with that. And Mom, check this record out. I haven't talked to you this week, but you're gonna love.
You're gonna go to your mom. She's gonna be dangling from those silk scarves, doing acrobatics, listening to Pink.
It's a trustful baby.
Right on. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think? What's your rating?
What do you pink?
What do you pink? Pink.